Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds, and last month I spent a week of my life helping one of my employees become financially free. She became financially free in 5 days from scratch. It was absolutely incredible, and this is a month later to talk about exactly what happened since. Her property's still going well. So Amelia, welcome to Winners Wednesday.
Thank you for having me.
So you have been heading up Winners on a Wednesday for almost 2 years now.
Yes.
Where you've been inviting guests who are financially free as a result of the training onto the show, and now you are on the other side as a financially free student. How's it feel?
It feels really strange, to be fair. Like, now I understand the pressure that they feel.
Really? What do you mean?
Because I feel like quite often when I'd ring Winners, they'd always be like, oh, I don't know whether I'm ready. And to be fair, we had that conversation. I was like, oh, do you really think I should come on just yet?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand their position now.
Okay, so tiny bit of backstory. How did we meet? How did this start? And then we're literally in this interview, I want to break down what we did behind the scenes, answer questions that people had, some of the things that people were like confused about. And I really just want to inspire people and let people know that, I mean, there've been people even since the documentary, the film came out, that have literally gone and started doing deals just from watching our movie. It's blown up. It's currently on 32,000 views, all organic, which is crazy. So how did this all start and how did this come to happen?
Yeah, so I first met you when I came down to a crash course. So my mum has kind of always done little bits of property, but she's never kind of gone and got training for it. So I came across you online and I was like, oh, this would be really good for my mum to go to, and I'd be interested as well. So we came down, I think it was 2018, like November time, and we came down to the crash course and obviously like absolutely loved it. But we didn't really have much money at the time. So my mum actually paid for the DFE on credit cards. And she wanted me to go instead of her because she was like, you know, you'll remember the information, you can relay it back to me. And so that basically happened. But she was like, you know, you need to get a deal to pay me back for this. Right. You know, it's a loan. I was in my third year of university, so I was quite busy. And I actually saw that you had a competition that Christmas when your first Financial Freedom Challenge came out. And you said, you know, whoever does the best description, I'll put that as the description to the video, and you can get some free training. So I was like, oh, amazing, because I haven't got time right now to go and secure some property deals to pay my mum back. So I actually won that competition in the end. I think I was like spamming you on like a Christmas day, like, please use my caption. And and then I was able to then pay my mum back because I got the free training. So that's kind of how we first came about.
That's awesome, and it's so funny how everything's come full circle, because now you're in charge of running those types of giveaways. You're like, right, let's do a giveaway, and people are commenting, and then it's like, well, you were one of the people that were commenting on the giveaway.
Yeah. Okay,
so you invested onto the deal finding extravaganza, but you ended up also getting money towards it from the voucher from the giveaway, which is awesome.
Yes.
So you came on the training, and how old were you at the time?
Oh, how old was I in third year uni? I can't even remember. Would I have been like 21?
About 21.
Yeah, I think it would have been.
So you're at university.
Yeah.
You're 21. You don't have any money.
Yes.
You've managed to somehow haggle your way onto the deal finding extravaganza with your mum's. Your mum got a credit card / giveaway. Yeah. You're at the deal finding extravaganza, which is obviously great. And at this point, where are you at? Like, what happened next?
Yeah, so I was really confident about, you know, doing property. I've always had a bit of a entrepreneurial kind of spirit, and my head was that, you know, I might set up a business after university, and then with that money that I make from that business, I'll put it into property. And then when I kind of went to the crash course, I was like, why wouldn't I just go straight to doing, you know, straight into property?
Why not skip the job part?
Yeah, why would I do that? But, you know, I did love like the startup kind of lifestyle. You know, I'd worked for a startup over in Australia and I was really into that world. So I was actually meant to work for a startup in Leeds when I finished.
What was the startup?
The startup, it was kind of like an app for students.
Okay.
And I'd you know, won you know, business plan competitions and all sorts in my third year.
So you were fire hungry.
Yes, I was hungry.
You know what I saw about you? Sorry to cut you, but I remember around this time when you were just starting to do a bit of training, you're just finishing uni. I know I saw a post where you were like, oh, I'm looking to know what to do. Should I go full-time into property? Should I get a job? What should I? And I remember saying to you, if you want a job as a videographer, because I'd seen you had a little YouTube channel, you'd done a couple videos. I'm like, okay, you know, she's kind of got I saw, you know, you had something about you. And I remember saying to you, look, if you want a job as a videographer, then we need a videographer right now. Yeah. How did that conversation go?
Yeah, so you actually so I'd kind of seen you know, making moves, doing really well, and, you know, all the training side of it and the property side, and I was really inspired. And I saw, so it was one day, the startup that I was meant to work for, it fell through because they didn't get funding, and also a flat that I was meant to get on shared ownership, which now I know isn't a good thing.
Oh, you were about to get shared
Yeah,
ownership? Oh, you'd have been in the death trap. You'd have been in a job where you were working 9 to 5, shared ownership, death trap till 67.
Yeah, literally. So that company wanted me to work for free for their startup, and I was like, what if I was going to work for free? I'd work for my own business.
Right.
So that kind of fell through. That was in the week my dissertation was due, so it was very stressful. After university, I went back to my village, and I was just kind of sat there, and I was like, is this life? Like, I've gone to university, I've got a first-class degree, I've done super well, and now I'm sat back in the village that I was in before,
right,
and I haven't got a job.
Right.
So I was on Facebook, and I was, you know, as you do when you don't have a job, and I was
You
just
upset?
scrolling. Yeah, I was really upset. I didn't know what I was going to do, and, you know, I thought I had these plans, and they both fell through, like the flat and the working for the startup. And I saw a post by you, and you said, I'm looking for a videographer in London, you know, comment down below if that's you. And my mentality was so bad at the time that I just thought, oh, I'm not in London, so that can't be me. And I think I just posted something like, you know, I haven't got a job at the minute, you know, if you're ever up in Manchester, I can, you know, work for free.
I'm a loser bum with a degree, first honours, but hey. Right.
Yeah,
so you offered to work for free for my company, but
Yes.
you didn't want to work for free for the startup. Why is that?
Because I saw more value in, like, I understood the, you know, the networking element of it, and also I just really align myself with everything that you were doing.
Yeah.
So I was happy to, you know, if you were at a Manchester and was struggling for a videographer, I was very happy, you know, I'm not doing anything else with my time. So yeah, I commented on that post, and you instantly messaged me directly on Facebook, and I was thinking, what? And you kept asking me questions. I think you said something like, are you good? And I was just
Are
like,
you good? As in, are you good at videography?
Yeah.
What a question. Are you good?
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, I am. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So
I remember sending you a video and saying, can you do something like this?
Yeah.
Could you shoot something like this? And you were like, easy.
Yeah, literally. So you then rang me, and I think we were on the phone for about 28 minutes, and I'd basically agreed to move down to Wolverhampton with the company while you were moving things down to London, and then straight down to London. And this was, I think, the Thursday night or the Friday night.
Did I like use my NLP on you or something? Like, I hypnotised you.
Like...
So you agreed to move from Manchester to Wolverhampton, knowing that 3 weeks later you'd have to move from Wolverhampton to London. Start within a couple of days.
Yeah, and that weekend I was like taking pictures for my cousin's wedding, so it wasn't even like I was free, and you wanted me to start on the Monday and meet you in Doncaster. So I was literally like, I've got so much to sort, I've got so much to do, but I was like, this is such an amazing opportunity. So yeah, I came down and met you, Amanda, and another videographer that I then shadowed in Doncaster on that Monday, and that's basically where I started.
Obviously we've got quite a lot of members of staff. I think we've got about 31 people right now on the payroll.
Yeah.
You have done the Financial Freedom Challenge. I've helped you in property. Yeah. Why you over other people? What do the other 30 members of staff think about me spending a week with you? What's the situation there? How is it fair?
Yeah, so I think because I've kind of invested in the training, I think a lot of time as staff, obviously you do get to go to the events, you do kind of obviously hear things, and you're in conversations, and you kind of get training without even, you know, paying for it, but not
limited.
Yeah, but limited.
Very.
So then I was, well.
What do I say to you when you ask me property questions before you join the academy?
So you said to me, I used to like be in the car with you, and I'd be like, Samuel, you know what mortgage would you get for this? And you'd be like, okay. So there's this guy on YouTube. I think it's around on Sunday at 7 p.m. You can maybe ask him a question.
Yeah, there's this thing. I'd say, put this in your diary. 7 p.m. on Sunday. There's a Q&A going on YouTube. Right, obviously it's our Q&A. But in other words, like, you know, listen, you're doing a job. You can't be asking me questions. People pay good money to get trained. That's not how we roll.
And I can remember when we were at the, when I started, because I came down to London and I didn't, you know, it's all happened so fast. I didn't understand how expensive London was or how I was really going to navigate anything. I hadn't even sorted, you know, a flat out. I was sleeping on people's sofas and floors for weeks. And I remember talking to you because I was like, right, I need to deal source. Deal source will be a way for me to get more money so then I can have a better lifestyle in London. So I remember we had one conversation one time. We were in the car, and I think I just asked you one too many questions, and you were like, "Listen, you're in a career now. You need to like focus on that, or choose property and go off and kind of do that." And at that time, initially, I was a bit like, taken back by it. I understood what you meant, but I was like, what should I do? And I chose to focus on my career.
Yeah.
And it definitely paid off. Within the first like 6 months of the company, I was promoted twice, which obviously was amazing and was everything I wanted. I am very much, even though I'm entrepreneurial, I am very much an entrepreneur, and I like being in companies that are growing and doing really well. So that was obviously incredible. But then it came to like 2 years later, around a few months ago. And I still had that itch to do property.
Right.
Because I'm the one, sorting winners out and hearing their amazing, like, incredible stories. I always thought, like, I do want to get into property. I'll put it off for a few years. But it got to the point where I was like, I do really want to do this.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, a few properties and just learning. And the best way to learn is do the training and then, take action.
Right.
So I then joined the academy. Because I realised that to have people take me seriously and you to take me seriously, I need to, pay for the training and
For sure. That's smart. That was a smart. I bet you're glad you did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And again, for you, it must have been tough joining the academy because a lot of the training you'd been filming, you'd actually edited some of the online courses for the academy members. So you may have felt, I don't know, maybe you didn't, but when I said to you, look, if you want to really do this yourself, if you want to be treated seriously, if you want people to invest in you, you need to invest in yourself, right? You need to get the training, you need to get yourself in the right environment, and there's a difference between being in an environment when you're a delegate, when you're an investor, and when you're a videographer. You need to join the academy, and then, fine, I'll support you, but still, you're going to have to do this on your holiday time, in your evenings and weekends. So when did that all happen? When did we start having that conversation of like, are you going to do this? What's what?
Yeah, so it was a couple of months ago now, and I basically said, I'm going to take this serious, and I'm going to book a week off work. And if you wanted to come round with your film crew and help, that would be amazing. So I kept being like, it would be great if we can do a financial freedom challenge. What about this and this? Like we can pitch it as like employee and boss, and you were kind of like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And it was only until I took it seriously and obviously paid for the academy and was like, I'm doing this, that I saw you were a bit more like warmed up to it.
Yeah.
And then I remember when we were announcing the Millionaires Challenge from the eviction, obviously I had like organised all the eviction and done all that kind of side of it. And I was actually there filming for the Millionaires reveal. And, I saw Evans proposing to Ellen, and it was just such like a magical day. And I was just there, starting to like pack up the camera and thinking, you were done now for the day. And you invited me up on stage. And I was thinking, I thought you were just going to say, thank you for helping and that kind of thing.
Like I do always.
Yeah. And you were just like, come on stage. And then you basically just announced that you were going to do a financial freedom challenge with me. And I was honestly taken back because, I'd obviously asked, but I didn't think you actually would. And because I knew how busy you were going back to the events after lockdown and stuff. So I just felt like super grateful. And I felt a little bit anxious, like I was excited, but I knew that, okay, like it's crunch time, like it's game time, like this is actually
it's
happening
important
now.
Week now.
Oh, massively. So, and then I did all the online training and absolutely loved it. And it's just crazy because now it's like, knowing that everyone's seen a video of me where it's like, because I basically didn't really do anything in terms of taking action until the challenge, because I wanted it to be, a beginner and starting, and so people can relate to me.
You did the training.
Yeah, because I feel like as well, I wanted people to be able to relate to me because, I'm a regular girl from a regular background. I did uni and then I was in a job, and I was probably getting the sort of income that you would do at my age if you're doing quite well, but it's nothing to write home about, nothing like incredible. So I thought, it's going to be amazing for people to see a regular girl, taking the training and then for the first time putting it into action. Yeah. I could have done loads of practice before the day, so I didn't look like a silly on camera, but I just thought, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to put myself out there.
Yeah, and you did
hopefully
that.
it'll help someone.
And even the way you like walked into some of the estate agents and were just like, hey, I'm looking to do rent to rent. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we had a blast that week. And look, through the week, I'm sure everyone's watched it, but if they haven't, you did a deal a day for 5 days. You did a lease option agreement, serviced accommodation, rent to rent in Clapham, the Windsor deal, house hacking deal. You bought a freaking house that you're gonna live in. So it was crazy. You packaged and sold a deal. You basically smashed it out of the park. And the deals that we did you find them the prior, or were they all like from scratch that week? Like, what was the actual setup behind the scenes?
Yeah, so the deal that we sold, I actually, in the challenge, we didn't know whether, you know, when we put the video out, I didn't know whether it was 100% going to go through, because it was very back and forth with the landlord. But I'm happy to now announce that the deal has gone through.
$4,000.
Yeah, $4,000.
Bang. And you know what the question I asked you though was the deals that we did. So for instance, that deal that you sold.
Yeah.
I wanted to intentionally do everything start to finish and do it as a movie so people could see how to do it. Yes. So the deals that we found, like what I'm asking is, how from scratch was it? I know I pulled my contacts in to help out, but the actual deals, when did you find them? How did you find them?
Oh yeah, it was all from scratch. Like the week before, I was a little bit nervous, and I was, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just started looking like for BRR deals, and nothing came off. Like nothing was anything that we then used in the challenge. Like in the challenge, everything was just from scratch.
And I think the thing is, with this market, you can't plan a financial freedom challenge because if you find a property 2 weeks prior and line it up, by the time it comes, it's going to have gone.
Yeah.
And you were saying to me the week before, is there anything I should be like doing, or should I be like? And I was just like, just chill, just make sure that you're well rested, and during that week we can go to town and smash it. So okay, so of the deals then, did any of them fall through?
No.
They've all gone ahead.
Yeah, well, obviously, I was just saying, the deal that I sourced, I did think, you know, the landlord was taking so long, so much negotiation. I was thinking potentially that could not go through.
So you've not given the keys back to any of the properties?
No.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? That actually is amazing, because normally in business, I even said to you on the week, I'm like, look, some of these deals may fall through.
Yeah.
That would be okay.
Yeah.
So with the properties then, talk to me about how you managed to rent them out, how you managed to rent them out so fast. Talk me through the process of what happens the Monday after. So we spend the week together, and then I'm like, right, you know, we're done. Congratulations. We go out clubbing and everything's great, and you're financially free. What then happened? What happened the week after? Yeah,
so it was a bit, you know, I got back into my flat, and I was just kind of sat there like, this has been the craziest week of my life. I had so much to sort, like even in terms of the property that I'm buying, you know, sending over all the documents, and there was a lot of sorting things out. And even with the landlords, in terms of the rent-to-rents, the 2 rent-to-rents that I got, it was almost like I had to seal them again after the challenge.
Really?
Yeah, because they realised that, because obviously we did it together, and they were like, okay, you know, Samuel, and he did it. But then when I went and I was like, oh, it's a Santee Estates that you're going to be signing the contract with, they were like, okay, and this is the first time you're doing this in this company. So I did have
we did have that though in the week. We had that awkward conversation with Matt. We had but I know what you mean about how there's a lot of aftermath. Did the penny drop to the landlord that, oh, Samuel's not here anymore? Yeah,
a little bit. So I had to kind of basically negotiate and sell myself, and you know, with some of the deals, I gave a like upfront rent to basically be like, you know, I'm serious, I'm gonna, you know, I'm in, and I'm gonna do this.
But I actually put that whole conversation on YouTube because I felt like it was important.
Yes.
And it didn't fit in the documentary, but I thought it's such an important, I put the entirety of the conversation, which was you, and it was during the week, it was you speaking to Matt, the landlord from Clapham, having to drop the news that, by the way, I've actually got a new company that was set up 2 weeks ago. I got no money, I got no assets, I got no references, I got no guarantors. Because we'd sold Matt, and we'd kind of did a little bit use my cred. Yeah. Matt didn't know me, but the way that we spoke, and I was like, oh yeah, we've done this before kind of thing, which is true. But then when the coffee hits home and it's like, actually, Mrs. Amelia, and this is the same with the Academy members, People come to the academy, they're in the environment, they're hitting the phones, they're next to me, they're next to all these people, but then it's like actually after the training program finishes, they're on their own. Of course, they've got the support, they can pick up the phone, that we can still work with people, but it's like, what was that like? So what happened? Did you have any comeback? Did you have any landlords say, I don't like this, I'm not comfortable? What did you do?
Yeah, so I went to meet the landlords again face to face. So we actually hadn't met Matt face to face. So I went and met him and, you know, talked over everything. And it's so funny because both landlords are the opposite. Like Matt is very much like, pay me, I don't want to hear from you. Right. And then my other landlord is like, he lives down the road and like he'll go in and fix stuff. And so it's great to have that difference and kind of learn how to deal with, I guess, different landlords. And I've, you know, formed great relationships with both of them. Amazing.
So what else have you done? I mean, there's the deals on the week which we completed and we got them done, but then, as you say, there's still a bit of back and forth in with the landlord and the teething problems, which you sorted out. Yeah. What other deals have you done?
Yeah, so just to go back, because I do want to say the deal that I sold to JL, we actually got that from deal sources on the academy, which is amazing because I think that probably didn't come through as much in the documentary. Sure. But I basically got paid $2,000 for basically just bringing people together. I found a deal from someone and we went and saw it and checked it was all good, and then we found JL and I negotiated to basically make that deal happen.
So you were just the ultimate middleman.
Yeah, got paid $2,000 to be
got paid $2,000 to do
it.
That's epic. Yeah, that's epic. And shout out to everybody, you know, Blaze and Spence, JL, even Clement that didn't do business with us, but what a fabulous chap he is. Yeah. All the people that, you know, the landlords, Matt and the Windsor landlord, I can't remember his name. But just Evans, shout out Evans. Oh, it was so good seeing Evans come back in his fancy car and like be in a position of money, and he's now the investor. He was the person that was begging for money. Now he's the investor. Yeah. You'll probably be in a year or 2 years' time, be like, oh, I'll invest in your deals. Yeah. It was crazy. So interesting seeing the growth. And even one thing I forgot to say is I filmed. So obviously we had the eviction, and then we had David, Lawton, and Evans, who you then did financial freedom challenges with this time last year. Yeah. And it was actually Lawton's FF challenge that I filmed in the January. And I remember sitting there and thinking, like, he was in a worse place than me. He was, you know, in debt and all these things. And by the end of the week, like, I think he'd made, was it like £11,000? Yeah, and he got a piece of land and he had all these deals. And I was thinking, I'm in a better position than he is. So I was just thinking, you know, if he can do this in a week, what could, you know, what potential could I kind of do, you know, create for myself? So it was actually, I think at the end of that challenge, you can actually hear, I edited it in because I was like, maybe Samuel will do it then. But at the end of that challenge, I actually said to you, will you do a financial challenge with me? And you like laughed it off, but I was thinking, I'm like, join the academy and then let's have a conversation. Yeah, and I'm manifesting it. But the thing is as well, I'll take people seriously that take themselves seriously. I always say, you make one move, I'll make one move. And as soon as people message me like, oh, can you do this? Can I have a coffee with you? Can you move to my house? I'm like, you don't even come to my free training. Yeah. You don't even show up because you can't be bothered to do a 1 hour commute, but you want me to come to your house? Yeah. Come on, let's get real. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%. Well, I've even looked on our social media and the amount of messages that we have about financial freedom challenges and people like, come, but it's the first message they've ever sent you. They've never even purchased a book and it is crazy. And I think, you know, that's one thing that maybe people wouldn't see through the challenge is they might think, oh, you know, maybe she just got it handed to her, but they haven't seen the nearly 3 years worth of work and going to events and like all the work. And you and your mum, between the two of you, you're on the academy, your mum's on the academy. You did the DFE, obviously that was a few years ago now. Yeah. How much have you and your mum invested between the two of you into training through our company? Yeah, a lot. So I think it's now like 22,000. Right. She's now on the development academy as well. So. Right. But the thing is this though, it's like when you invest in yourself, now you're in a situation whereby you're financially free. What does it feel like to be in a situation now where you have the status of financial freedom? Like, what does that feel like?
insane. Like I think until the documentary came out, I hadn't really thought about it because there was so much I needed to do, like sorting everything out, setting them up, and also editing the financial freedom challenge. And so there was a lot.
Because you pretty much edited that.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah. So it was weird kind of watching myself back, and when it went out, it was just mental for me because I hadn't sat back and thought, okay, I'm financially free now. So when everyone was like messaging me like, well done, and oh my God, it's incredible, it kind of just set in.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing. Like it does feel like incredible to know that you've got that there. Because I think if one thing everyone learned through Corona is like, you need more than one source of income. Like I think that is kind of important to kind of have that set up.
Are the properties full?
Yeah, so the Clapham one is full, completely.
Did you fill it yourself?
Yeah.
Was it easy?
It was crazily easy. Like people were literally lining up for the property.
People say, you make it look too easy. Why would a landlord want to... What do you have to say?
To be fair, it was a lot easier than I thought, like a lot easier. Like I literally just put it on spare room, did group viewing, so then people got the pressure of like, this room is going to go. So the previous rent-to-rent managers, they dropped everyone's rent because of COVID and just to support. So actually when I took the property over, initially I thought one tenant was moving out, but it ended up being 3 tenants that were moving out. And at first I was stressed about it because I was thinking, oh no, what if I can't find tenants? London rents are quite expensive considering like your salary and stuff. So already I was just like, ugh, I hate paying so much rent every month. So then to know you've signed 2 properties that are way more rent than you're even paying for the place that you're living in, it was a little bit daunting. So obviously the 3 tenants were moving out and I was thinking, you know, I need to be able to afford the next month's rent. So I started obviously advertising on spare room and stuff, and honestly I got it filled so quickly. Good tenants, passed the references, young professionals.
Clapham property, you're talking about 800 quid a month?
So it's making 750 now. So what I was saying is I boosted the rent, so it's making 750 now, but when the last tenant kind of moves out or moves on, I think it's around April time, it'll be 850 because I can push that rent up.
So once that's sorted, it'll be £850 a month, clean profit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the Windsor property service accommodation. How full's that been? What's been going on with that?
The Windsor property's been incredible, to be honest. You know, I was worried because it is a whole different strategy to the HMO. So I was thinking, you know, how is this going to be a hotel? You know, it could dip in and out, void periods.
And I remember when we met with Alex and we sat down and Alex was saying, you should be making 1,500 with this property. I was saying £1,000, he was saying 1,500. And at the time, I'm going to have to be real, I didn't sense that you actually believed that would be the case. You were literally asking to see my access. You were. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, so I was at an event. I think I was actually asking Evans to see his, because he obviously has essays in the same street. And obviously people are always like, oh yeah, I'm making this amount, I'm making this amount. I'm like, I want evidence. Like, I want to see your accounts.
You will, and normally if I say to you like, my occupancy rate is 96% in this area, you'll just go, oh, interesting. Now you're like, I need to see the proof. Because you're putting money on the line, and you know. So I sense that you weren't too sure. But how full has the service accommodation been?
It's been amazing. Like it's been full. Honest, I would honestly say maybe 95% of the time. Like there's been a few like issues like the boiler, and then the landlord's fixed it straight away. But other than that,
where you can't have someone in.
Yeah, where I can't have someone in. But other than that, it's been full.
That's incredible.
What I do is I'm just really on it. Like I'll monitor it. So say for example this week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday wasn't full. So I just dropped the prices a little bit and then somebody booked it.
That's the thing though. I think serviced accommodation and rent to rent generally, it is a business. Yeah. It's not something that's just completely passive where you can say, you know, and that's why people sometimes get upset like, you're not really financially free because this means that, like, but it's like, well, hang on a minute. The definition of financially free, firstly, it's a little bit subjective. Our definition of financially free is when your recurring property income covers your living expenses. But rent to rent, I guess you can systemize it and you can get managers, but certainly in the early days, it does take a little bit, not loads of work, but it does take a little bit of, you know, overseeing, like you say, nudge the prices. Oh, it's a bit empty there. Let me drop the price here. Oh, let me just up the price here because there's an event going on here. It just takes a little bit of looking at. How much time do you reckon you spend managing all of your properties that you've got now on average per week? How much time would you say you spent on it?
I'd say I've literally just got to the section where it's like systemized now. So like literally not much at all. Like with the essay, 2 hours a week, like literally not at all. Just when I'm monitoring it or getting in touch with the cleaners.
But the thing is though, those 2 hours a week, although that's pretty much passive.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you neglected those 2 hours a
yeah.
week, if you just did nothing, the business would slowly start becoming less and less profitable.
Yeah.
So I think it is important that people do realise that when you get a property deal, in the early days, it's different if you've got staff and you've really systemised it. But like I spend like 5 minutes a month managing my property portfolio. I just don't, not on my property business, but managing the existing properties. But it's like, you do need to put a bit of effort in, you do need to put a bit of work in. You can't just go, now I'm going to lie on the beach forever.
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. I think the definition of financial freedom that I feel from this is just that I've got that set up. Like my living expenses now, you know, if for whatever reason I didn't have my job or, you know, I'm sorted kind of thing, everything's all good. And I only have to spend literally a few hours a week managing it. So for me, that's financial freedom because I'm free of the stress. I'm just free. You know, I can do what I like. I've got more choices.
Yes! That's amazing. And I'm so glad to see that for you. So the deals all went through. You've also as well, I know I had a little a cheeky conversation in the boardroom. You've got a potential joint venture partner as well.
Yes, I have.
To grow your slow pound.
Yes.
What was it like working with me? Because you were astonished that I had like business meetings in my dressing gown and stuff.
Yeah, I was just a bit like, like this is a side that I've not seen. Like I can remember when we were I was talking to JL on the phone, and you just came in your dressing gown, and I was just like, okay.
The thing is, I live and breathe business and work. Yeah. So I'll wake up there's nothing wrong with eating cornflakes in your dressing gown, but I'm just happening to be doing business meetings at the same time. Yeah. So, you know, but it's been great working together. What are your plans for the future then? Now you're in a position where you are financially free. You're still in the company. For me, I'm always rooting for my staff in the same way that I'm rooting for I don't think I don't see my staff as family. I don't think our business is like a family. I think we're a team. And there's a big difference between family and team. I think, you know, family members put up with each other even when they're rubbish or difficult or idiots, or you're just like, well, they're family, what can I say? Teams, if you're in a football team and you've got a weak member of the team, you have to let them go. Yeah. And I think in a business, I think we're a team. You're a great member of the team. You're financially free. People probably don't realise, because a lot of people ask me, Samuel, if you make so much money in your property business, why do you have a training business? But for me, and you probably know this as someone that spent a lot of time with me, it's mission, it's fun, it's fulfillment. Lying on a beach forever and ever and ever isn't actually that much fun. No. And hopefully you're now able to experience the idea of, I don't have to do this, this or this, but I want to do it from a position of abundance and fun, and hopefully we'll get more out of you than, you know, but if not, that's fine. And I'm rooting for you, I'm rooting for everybody. But what are your plans? What are your plans over the next 6-12 months?
Yeah, so for me now, it's weird because you do feel like there's this now pressure. Like I really want to kill it, and I want to show people that I can do this without having my boss stood next to me and helping me negotiate. So I think for me, going forward, my house is hopefully going through in January or February.
Which you'll buy yourself?
Yes, which I'm buying myself, which will be amazing. But one thing I was going to say is that the mortgage, initially, obviously, we thought it was going to be 95%. The mortgage broker was like, it's going to be 95%. And when it actually came through, it was 90%. Yeah. So obviously, it could be a massive worry for me because, you know, that's doubling how much money I have to put down. So right now I'm just looking to kind of deal source and to basically fund then the property.
I remember when you rang me about that though, and you were like, oh, I don't think I'm allowed to go ahead with the deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course you are. Yeah. 90% mortgage is still crazy high.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, how am I going to get the money? You know, I know you don't have to pay it now, but you have to pay it in, 3 months' time. Where am I going to get the money from? But now I understand that I'm a valuable person and I can give value to other people by finding deals and then obviously charging a fee for that.
As I always say, rather than saying, I can't do this deal or I haven't got the money, it's just a case of saying, how can I do the deal? How can I get the money? I'm glad that you've been able to do this for you, for your family, but also...
I'm so thankful to my family. Like that is one thing that I wanted to say. Like
your mum's a rock star.
Oh, both my mum and my dad. Like I just can't explain how amazing they are. Like even obviously I started this from my mum putting it down on credit cards. Like we didn't have the money for it. Even being on camera. Like she hates being on camera. And she did that for me and supported me and looked for the property, and I just honestly I feel so grateful. And even to my dad, my dad's just amazing. He's so proud of me. He keeps just ringing me every few days. How's it going? What's going on?
I've not met your dad yet, but I'm sure I'll meet him. But your mum's a rock star. Your mum's doing her own amazing things now in property as well, which is great. I'm sure she'll be on Windows Wednesday again soon. Final words of wisdom to anybody watching this that wants to do the same thing too, that wants to be successful. What would you say?
Yeah, I think I would just say is, I think it sounds so cringy, but it is get down to the crash course. Like, that's where it all started for me. That's where it all starts for a majority of the winners. Just come and be around the environment, and don't be scared to be a beginner. Like, that's one thing I really think, because I think a lot of people don't come down because they're scared to put themselves out there. They're scared to be in a room with people in property because they think, oh, I'll be the only person that's not doing things. When most people that come down to the crash course have never done any deals, have never, So I think just take action, educate yourself, watch the YouTube channel, come down to the crash course.
Well, well done. What a pleasure. I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, I'm honestly, words can't even explain how, I just feel so thankful and grateful towards you and the company for allowing me this opportunity, and even the opportunity to be with the company for so long. I think I'm one of the longest standing members of staff, which is obviously amazing. So yeah, I just honestly want to say I'm so thankful.
Well done. You killed it. Well done. So guys, you heard it here first. If you want to do what Amelia did and you want to come down to training and learn about property investment from myself personally, guess what? Tickets on the house. I'm going to leave a link in the description. If you haven't seen Amelia's Financial Freedom Challenge, the Financial Freedom Challenge movie, maybe you've been living under a rock for the last week, you can check it out right up here. If you want to see hundreds more interviews like this with people that I've helped become financially free, check out the entire playlist here, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.